Now, North Clyde and Wairua, Hawke's Bay, is an area that was hit badly by Cyclone Gabriel. In fact, people are still struggling in that region. And Julianna Dawson, who's from that area herself, decided something needed to happen to bring the community together, to encourage people. And so she's gone about setting up an event that's taking place this Saturday called Karakia for North Clyde. It's a multi-faith event, and Julianna now joins us on the program. Good morning, Julianna.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no, this is a great event that you guys have set up. But how are things for you guys now in the community? You know, what are people having to deal with, and how are they feeling?
Well, we're in full swing recovery mode now. So sort of feel like we've kind of left something out. All that time during the first part of the cyclone and those first 3 weeks, it was really isolating. And there was worries about how the fabric of society is getting on, as well as first world problems like worrying about where we were going to get our drinking water from. And it caused a lot of people to go inside themselves, to stay inside their homes, just hunker down and look after themselves and their kids.
Sure.
And it feels like there's a bit of a friction now within the community. So we've got all these words going around like resilience and recovery and things like that. But people are still deeply traumatized. We're missing that spiritual connection within each other, just as neighbours, as friends, as people that have known each other our whole lives. It's quite hard to find a space to even talk about what's happened. And then there's people on the other side of town who were affected in different ways, but they don't realise that a lot of our properties still have mud in them, that we're still struggling within ourselves. So it's just a great time for everybody just to catch up and just to give thanks for the fact that nobody in Wairoa had loss of life during the cyclone, which is very important, and it's something that hasn't been acknowledged a lot. Because we for those first 3 weeks we were all afraid. We had no internet, things like that, so we didn't know what was happening. And now that we've come out the other side and we can see how it did impact us in the big picture, it'd be really nice just to get together and acknowledge God and say thank you very much for giving us the time to get out of the way, to giving us the places to go, to having that organisation, giving people the strength in that moment to help themselves and their families and their neighbours. There was some really real heroes stepped up in those moments.
Yeah, what a neat thing to do. Like you say, you go through something traumatic and you kind of physically get through it, right? But then, like you say, it's sort of like emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you sort of still catching up. So
That's it.
so this is a great event that you've put together for people to come together, to pray together, karakia, to talk. I see there's bouncy castles in there for the kids. That's important, right?
It's very important because in those first few weeks, we were all isolated at home with our kids. So we were cleaning up to our ears in mud and trying to shield the children from our big emotions that we had, trying to soothe the big emotions that they had. And we just, it's very stressful. It's still stressful now, and they're still picking up on that. So it'll be nice to be able to air all those emotions out for the adults with the space for the kids to be able to play and for them to remember the day that we had karakia in North Clyde, and it was a fun time.
Yeah.
It sort of put an end to the trauma.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do now. I mean, you've got like a great event calendar here of what's happening. There's prayer, there's cake and tea, bouncy castles, lunch, a hangi, yum. And something that really interests me, at 1 o'clock, you've got this sacred space, kōrero, on the event of the flooding and how we feel then and now. That sounds
Yes.
profound. Tell me what your heart is for that moment, Juliana.
I just feel like, if we can just all get into a space, sit in a circle, like the indigenous cultures do, and to connect ourselves back together. I'll go and get a rock from down at the beach that's been in the water, and we'll just pass that around. Whoever's got the rock and say what they need to get out, and we can all just be there to support that. Just in a room full of people with understanding.
Yeah, that's great. I like what you say about a room of understanding, because obviously everyone there has been through the same thing, right? And so it's that
That's it.
that sort of sense of collective grief, and you're giving a voice for it and creating a space for it. That's really important. Julianna, now, what time do things kick off on Saturday?
So there's a bus running around Wairoa, so everybody will be out at the bus stops at about 8 o'clock. Some may need to wait a little while. Please be patient. So it will go around and it will pick up everybody who wants to get on, and it should get to Taiho Marae at 8:30.
Okay.
So that bus will empty out, and then it will refill with our elderly. Because where the ceremony is, it's up a wee bit of a hill. So those that want to drive will fill their cars, the bus will get filled, and anybody that's able to will wear sturdy footwear, I hope, and hikoi up the hill with the rest of us, hopefully singing some songs.
Sounds good. So Taiho Marae from 8:30 on Saturday morning, the 7th?
Yes.
Excellent. Hey, Julianna, well done for creating this event. I think you and your community will really get a lot out of it. And I know sometimes when you were saying in your email to us, you were sort of waiting for something to happen and you were the one who decided to do something about it. Good on you. I'm sure people really appreciate.
Well, not just me, though. There was a few of our nannies that could sort of tap me on the shoulder and said, wouldn't a karakia be lovely, darling? And I said, yeah, it actually would, and why can't we?
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
Lovely to chat with you, and all the best for Saturday.
No, thank you so much.